Have you ever wondered how profitable a greenhouse bell pepper farm can actually be? I have built a simple financial model to see if bell peppers are a gold mine or a money pit. This video is a direct request from one of my subscribers, and it's my way of saying thank you for all your comments. I have built a model that analyzes two scenarios. The first is the 1 unit greenhouse setup. This is for those thinking of starting small. And the second is the 8 units setup. This is for those looking to deploy serious capital. We are going to look at the massive seed cost, the lower planting density, and the pricing to see what the final return on investment really looks like. Let's get into the assumptions. Before we go into the numbers, I need to make a very important disclaimer. I am not a farmer, I am an analyst. My job is to look at the data, the market reports, and the financial structures that make a business sustainable and profitable. For this specific model, I looked deep into the research, and I have to be honest, finding formal academic data on greenhouse bell peppers in Nigeria was difficult. So, to build this model, I had to look at three specific sources. I looked at the seed breeder data, specifically the recommendations from top breeders. I also looked at market reports as well as agronomy best practices. So, this model is built on that research. It is designed to be conservative and realistic, not a fantasy. So, let's get into it. In terms of the farm size, we are modeling for a 1 acre farm, just like we did for the greenhouse tomato farm. And a unit of the greenhouse measures 8 by 48 meters, which gives us a total area per unit of 384 square meters. For this 1 acre farm, we are assuming that we'll be needing 8 units of the greenhouse. This gives us a total planting area of 3,072 square meters. For the planting density, this is where the research was very critical. For tomatoes, we often plant 4 plants per square meter, but for these pepper hybrids, the breeder specifically recommends 2.5 to 3 plants per square meter. So in this model, I have used a density of 3 plants per square meter. This gives us a total plant population of 9,216 plants for the 8 greenhouse units, suggesting that each unit will have approximately 1,152 plants. For the production cycle, just like in the greenhouse tomato farm, the cycle duration is 6 months. This tells us that we can comfortably have 2 cycles in a year. And for this model, we have assumed that from year 2 onwards, we will have 2 cycles, while in year 1, we will only have 1 cycle because we are assuming that the first 6 months will be used to set up the greenhouse and everything that is required. In terms of the yield, I would like to say that peppers are lighter than tomatoes. And based on greenhouse performance data, a realistic target is 3 kg to 4 kg per plant. So to keep our model conservative, I have used 3 kg per plant. So this gives us a total target harvest yield of 26,648 kg per cycle. For 2 cycles, this will give us 55,296 kg. And from what I learned, harvest can start as early as 61 days after transplanting. For the market scenarios, just like we did for the greenhouse tomato farm, we have 3 market price scenarios: the glut season price, the mid-season price, and the scarcity season price. For the glut season price, we are assuming a price of 1,500 naira per kg. For the mid-season price, we are assuming a price of 2,500 naira per kg. And for the scarcity season price, we are assuming a cost of 4,000 naira per kg. We have also assumed an inflation rate of 15% across all the costs as well as the selling price. Still on the assumptions, we want to see what the upfront cost would look like. So we have assumed that the greenhouse structure and installation will cost 9.3 million naira for each greenhouse unit. For borehole drilling and pump, we assume the cost of 1 million naira. For fertigation system, we have a cost of 1 million naira. For soil testing, a cost of 60,000 naira. For farm equipment, we have a cost of 110,000 naira. For staking materials, we have a cost of 290,000 naira. For harvesting materials, we are assuming that we would need 100 units of crates at a cost of 8,000 naira per crate. For seedling tray, we are assuming a unit cost of 1,500 naira, and we have also assumed that we'll be needing 200 of that. In terms of the operating costs, we have assumed that we'll be needing one farm manager at a monthly salary of 250,000 naira. We have also assumed that we'll be needing one agronomist at a monthly salary of 150,000 naira. We have also assumed that we would need 8 additional staff at a monthly salary of 80,000 naira for each of them. In terms of other costs, we can see that we'll be needing 10 packs of seeds. Each of the pack costs 271,700 naira, and one pack contains approximately 1,000 seeds. If you are planning to grow peppers, you need to be ready for this. High quality yellow hybrid seeds like Taranto RZ used for this model can cost over 200,000 naira. And from what I learned, the red variety can cost up to 40% less than the yellow variety. This cost is nearly 10 times the cost of standard tomato seeds. For fertilizers and manure, we have assumed a cost of over 1.7 million naira. For pesticides, 940,000 naira. For fuel and utilities, 900,000 naira. For land rental, 50,000 naira. And for packaging, we have assumed a unit cost of 400 naira and also assumed that we'll be needing 2,500 units of the 10 kg size cartons. So let's look at what the cost analysis looks like. Like I mentioned earlier, I have built the model that analyzes two scenarios, the 8 greenhouse setup and the 1 greenhouse setup. For the 8 greenhouse setup, we can see that we need a total upfront cost of over 77 million naira. We only incur this cost in year 1, and as you can see, year 2 to year 5 has 0 cost. For the operating cost, we can see that in year 1, we need a total of 13,572,000 naira, and the cost continues from there onwards up to year 5. So this gives us a total cost of over 91 million naira in year 1, and in year 5, we have a total cost of over 47 million naira. For the 1 greenhouse setup, we can see that we need a total upfront cost of over 10 million naira. And for the operating cost, we can see that we need a total of over 2.9 million naira in year 1. And in year 5, we have over 9.5 million naira as operating cost in year 5. So this gives us a total cost of 13,508,000 naira in year 1. And then in year 5, we have a cost of over 9.5 million naira. Now that we have seen what the cost analysis looks like, let's see what a per cycle analysis for 8 greenhouse units on a 1-acre farm looks like. Remember that in the assumptions, we say that the cycle duration is 6 months and the yield per cycle is 27,648 kg. This gives us approximately 27.65 tons of. And from the cost analysis, we can see that the operating cost per cycle for 8 greenhouse units is over 13 million naira. So in terms of the profitability analysis, we can see that the glut market, which is the worst case scenario, where our selling price is 1,500 naira per kg, we made a gross revenue of 41,472,000 naira. And if you subtract the operating cost of over 13 million naira, we have a net profit of 27,900,000 naira. For the mid-market scenario, where the selling price is 2,500 naira per kg, we made a gross revenue of over 69 million naira. And if we subtract the operating cost, we have a total of 55,548,000 naira as net profit. For the scarcity market scenario, where the selling price is 4,000 naira per kg, we have a gross revenue of over 110 million naira. And if we subtract the operating cost, we have 97,020,000 naira in profits. As we can see, based on the three market scenario, the 8-unit greenhouses is profitable. And remember, we have only factored in the operating cost. We have not factored in the upfront cost. We will see what the net profit or loss would be when we factor in the upfront cost later. For the 1-unit greenhouse, this is what the per cycle analysis looks like. So remember, the cycle duration is 6 months, and because it's only 1 unit, the yield per cycle is 3,456 kg. This gives us approximately 3.46 tons of pepper harvested. Okay, so the operating cost for 1 unit of greenhouse, just like we saw in the cost analysis, is 2,940,250 naira. So in terms of the profitability analysis, we can see that in the glut market, where the selling price is 1,500 naira, we made a gross revenue of 5,184,000 naira. So if we subtract the operating cost, we have a net profit of 2,243,715 naira. For the mid-market scenario, where the selling price is 2,500 naira, we have a gross revenue of over 8.6 million naira. And if we take away the operating cost, we have a net profit of over 5 million naira. For the scarcity market scenario, where the selling price is 4,000 naira, we have a gross revenue of over 13 million naira. If we subtract the operating cost, we have a net profit of over 10 million naira. Again, as we can see across the three different market scenarios, a 1-unit greenhouse pepper farm is profitable. And remember, we have only factored in the operating cost, and we will get to see what the net profit or loss will look like when we factor in the upfront cost in year 1. So what does the bottom line look like for 8 greenhouses on a 1-acre farm? For this summary analysis, we are using the mid-market selling price. So this gives us a total revenue of 69,120,000 naira in year 1. And then in year 2, we have a total revenue of 158,976,000 naira. In terms of the cost, we can see that in year 1, we have a total cost of over 91 million naira. In year 2, we have a total cost of over 31 million naira, and we can see the cost up to year 5. So when we subtract the total cost from the total revenue, we arrive at a cumulative loss position of over 22 million naira. This loss position is largely due to the fact that we have factored in the upfront cost. But from year 2 onwards, we can see a positive cash flow position. So based on that, we can say that our payback period is 1.2 years. This is roughly 14 months. And we can also say that our break-even year is year 2, because this is when our cash position turned positive. And we can also see that throughout the 5 years period, our total return on investment is 790%. So this means that for every 1 naira invested in the 8 greenhouse units, the 8 greenhouse units made that 1 naira and an additional 7 naira 90 kobo in profits. For the 1-unit greenhouse, we have also used the mid-market selling price scenario of 2,500 naira to calculate our revenue. So in year 1, we can see a total revenue of over 8.6 million naira. And then in year 2 onwards, we can also see increases in the revenue. In terms of the cost, we have a total cost of 13,508,000 naira. And when we subtract the total cost from the revenue, we have a cumulative loss position of 4,868,000 naira. And from year 2 onwards, we can see that the cash position is positive. This tells us that our payback period is 1.4 years. So this is roughly 17 months. And our break even year is year two, because this is when our cash position turned positive and we can see a return on investment of 597%. So what this means is that for every 1 naira invested in the 1 unit greenhouse, the 1 unit greenhouse paid back that 1 naira plus an additional 5 naira 97 kobo. So there you have it, the complete financial breakdown of greenhouse bell peppers. I know we covered a lot of heavy numbers today, but my goal with this channel is to show you the reality of agribusiness, the cost, the risks, and the real profit potential, so you don't go in blind. This model that we've built today shows that bell peppers can be a gold mine, but only if you respect the upfront cost and the market risk. Now I want to hear from you. Based on these numbers, that is the high cost but high reward, would you choose bell peppers or would you stick to the safer tomato route? Let me know in the comments below. Trust me, I read every single one of them. And if you want to see more models like this, including my upcoming one on the palm oil business, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.